I do that?
I'm looking at him.
Nothing still? You don't see me?
I see you.
I don't see you.
I'm seeing him. And we're getting a late start, I guess.
Can we start? Is there something I'm doing wrong?
I don't think so. I'm seeing you. I'm looking right at you.
All right, I'm doing it this way. Still don't see you.
I can see you.
That's weird. You just show up as an S.
Yeah, I see that. It's on my phone.
So weird, Scott.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. I had no issue earlier, honestly.
Oh, there you go.
There we go. Now we got them all.
All right, I'm gonna kill this timer thing.
All right.
And then and Ken, what about the streams? Can you see us?
Everything looks good now. I mean, let me, I'm going to YouTube to check. Yeah, it's a little bit behind. Like, I'm seeing a timer on mine.
It's always going to be behind.
Skype.
Never.
Well, no,
it should
but
be at least
like a minute.
30 seconds behind.
Okay.
The timer is gone right now.
Okay. Well, should we just go ahead and start? You ready?
Well, I need to know if people can see it.
All right, we are live. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I'm laughing at Tim rocking out.
We're banging beats. All right. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the channel. It is DJ's live streaming.
Bass as in low frequencies or bass? Never. Oh, I was joking. I thought you were talking about the part that holds it to the table. I was going to say, if you needed an extra bass, I got an extra bass, but you meant bass like a boom. Death Row, what a brother know. Sorry. That's like my musical Tourette's. Anytime anybody says bass, I immediately in my head go, how low can you go? Death Row, what a brother know. Once again back, it's the incredible, the uncannibal, Rhyme Animal. No, my singing's not good enough to get caught by the detectives.
Tim's been doing this for well over, I'm guessing 35 years now, roughly. Am I close, Tim, or are you longer than that?
Like
are you
that.
40?
I mean, yeah.
Not
I
40
started
years
at
of age,
14.
but 40 years of DJ work.
Yeah, at least.
Got to be close. I mean, Tim and I worked together at the Snuggery back in like the mid 80s, I want to say, like 1985 or something like that. We were working there together and have known each other obviously longer than that, going back to even my BMX days of like the 1981 to 84 time period before going to GCI. Tim ended up at B96 for how many years? I mean, you were there for like 10 years at least or more,
16,
right?
16
years, yeah. And I got to tell you, you've done a great job. I'm envious of one thing of you, Tim. Only one thing, but one thing, and that is you came up with this idea of boom. And anytime I think of Tim Schommer, I have to go boom. It's like the best branding, guys. You know, and if you've got a DJ, you know, business or you're an aspiring DJ, you need a hook and you need to have some branding. And Tim has done that with the boom. I mean, honestly, if I send you an email, if I send you a hey while you're streaming, I always put the boom on there. There's just never a time that I don't add. And that is absolutely, you know, the most incredible branding that there is. How did you come up with that?
I'd like to take full credit for that, but I didn't. I had, you know, Will from the group Bomb, you know, remember the song, Can You Dig It?
Can you dig it?
I had him do some drops for me. He did a rap for me and everything. And he goes, you need a hook, you know, boom. And then he's got it going on, boom. And so I started using the mixes, or started that in the beginning of all the mixes. So he knew it was my mix. We start off with a boom and then away they go. But that's my favorite. I love that. And the other one I always get is the Tim Spinnin Schommer is my other famous drop that people always ask me about. It was my buddy's daughter.
I go with the boom, just so you know.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny, man. So how did you end up starting at B96 back in the day? What year did you guys start? You were there, what, like late 80s?
1989.
Yeah, 89.
It was really weird. I met Julian. I was 11. He was 26. It was the first time I ever had van candy. No, I'm just kidding. So I used to I knew Julian just from going to the record pool. And, you know, I grew up in Wisconsin, in Madison, Wisconsin. And then I came here and in like 83, 84. And I really didn't know anybody. So, you know, when you move to a new place, you don't know anybody. All of a sudden, it's really, you get focused. Very, you know, tunnel vision. So I became militant, and even more so than I was before. And just mixing. All I would do, because I didn't know anybody, I would go to the record pool, you know, where we picked up the records, and then I would go to record shopping, and then I would go home, practice, then mix 6 nights a week, and that's all I did. And so after a while,
that's how you get good.
Well, thank you. Yeah, that's all we did. So, you know, practice, and then all of a sudden, Julian started coming to the club that I was working at, and I didn't really know him very well, but and this is pretty cool. And I did, you know, we didn't.
Which club was it, by the way?
This is the Snuggery in Elgin.
Okay.
I went to go see Julian at Dilligaff's too back in the day, so I knew him, but I didn't really know him very well. But all of a sudden, he started popping into the club that I was working at, and it was kind of a cool thing. And then one day, I got a phone call. He said, "Hey, listen, we're putting together a mix show. Do you want to be a part of it?" And I go, "Who is this? You know, how'd you get my number?" That kind of thing. So the rest is history, or his story. Yeah. So, you know, it was so crazy because you know how it is, Scott, when you're making a mix. The first mix is always, these are my tried and true mixes, man. I got this down. I've been doing this in the club for so long. These always kill. These always work. Here's my mix. Oh, this is great. Okay, do another one. I'm like, oh, you know, after 50, you know, experienced mixes. Now I'm
gonna let all you DJs in on a little secret. So here's a little tip for you, and I learned this many years ago. If you want to get on the radio, and you can get to the point where somebody's willing to listen to your mix, and you've probably spent 40 hours doing that mix. It is going to be the greatest mix ever made by any human DJ in the world. And you present that to them, and they're like, yeah, that's great, man. That's awesome. I need another one, and I need it in like 4 hours. And you go, oh my gosh, you better be prepared, because I saw this inside out all the time. Donnie Colon was the music director at GCI when I got there to GCI in '96, and I got on the mix show. I was the first one of the Hot Mix 5 to come back on the radio, and I brought my mixes in, and I actually, I knew Doug Banks. There were a lot of people there that I had worked with over the years at BMX, hadn't seen in a long time. Steve Maestro is the one that actually brought me into GCI. And after Steve got me into GCI, he turned around and quit, basically. And that was me. I was the only one that was left there. So suddenly Elroy took a little more interest in me, like getting the mixes, because he needed mixes now. Right. His golden child, Steve, was out of there. So he wanted to make sure the music was right and that it was following the format that he wanted and done the way he likes it. I mean, you have to please a program director. That is your ultimate boss when you're at a radio station. And for you, was it Todd or was it Eric? Who did you have to, or actually it was Dave Shakes back then, right? Dave was the PD back then. I think it was Buddy Scott. Oh, wow. So that's even before Dave. That's right.
When we first came on, then Dave came. It was so crazy because we came back and when Dave started, and the whole station sounded different. He, new jingles, knew everything all the way down the line. And the B96 thing happened. Yeah. So really, when we first started, because they were skeptical, the way Julian tells it is that, he was the first one to get in there, is they were really sure of what this beast was that they had. But what Julian did, he was really smart. He took Buddy out to the local clubs. And, he heard songs like, we're not playing that. Where's this music coming from? Yep. It was all ground level music. My Lost was being played. Every club record that was the monsters that that nobody was playing on the radio. How are these records? Why are these records reacting so well? And Julian's like, we can give you these to you. So cool. Well, let's play some of those records, but we still want to play Debbie Gibson, and we still want to play Paul Abdul. We still want to play some of these other records. We got to intertwine them. But by week 3 we were on our own. We did whatever we wanted. But it was really, that was the challenge, to keep everybody happy. But he saw the numbers. It was just ridiculous.
Well, I actually remember that, because I remember when the show first started and you guys had the first mixes. I mean, they were truly the radio mixes. And it's like, that's really not what we do. But,
right.
This is what the radio stations expect, and they don't know any differently. And that was the freedom that we had at BMX, was Lee Michaels, who was the PD at the time. He is the one that put the Hot Mix 5 together, and he really trusted the guys. When he brought the 5 together, he brought them from 5 different ways of life, 5 different areas of the Chicagoland area. I mean, Mickey came out of Northwest Indiana. Farley was south side of Chicago. I was north side of Chicago. Kenny was northwest side of Chicago, and Ralphie was like northwest side of Chicago. So we really had the whole area covered, and everybody, with the exception of Ralphie, because he was too young, was working in the clubs and had these audiences. So he trusted that we knew what we were doing. But when we started, we were playing Prince, we were playing Gap Band, we were playing, the records that the radio station, understood and knew, because obviously house hadn't been created yet, but we started to develop into those different genres of music to find music that had a little more life to it. And I know that's the same case, because within 3 weeks, that show on B96 had gone from, the regular top 40 radio format back to okay, now it sounds like a club show. And I'm sure it killed it. And these program directors, because they see research data day in and day out, and record promoters coming in the door and, with proof, this is the hot record, this is the hot record, this has 10,000 spins this week in other markets and it's blowing up. And they have no clue as to when you walk in the club and the whole place is losing their mind, snap. And if you played their record that they think is number one, people are I'm going to go get a drink now and sit down. Who cares about this? And then all of a sudden they see they are just blown away. What the hell is this guy playing? Exactly. And, they just can't fathom it. And again, if PDs would go out and experience what their audience experiences, I think they'd be better program directors, and they wouldn't be so narrow-minded with only having, 8 songs on their power playlist that are going to play every hour or every hour and a half, whatever the rotation is based on the station.
There's no gut reaction or gut feeling anymore. It's always, let's take a chance. There's none of that, because, And I get it too. It's like, we have this new record by a person that we don't really know, but we have this J-Lo record. Which one should we play? Well, J-Lo's going to carry more weight just by saying her name, but this other one, it just doesn't. I mean, and I get it, but to just go back to what you were saying too about that time when BMX was playing, Gap Band. What a great time for music! Gap Band, D Train, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Those records were so great,
and they're still hits to this day. I mean, those records absolutely have withstood the test of time. Absolutely timeless classics.
SOS Band, Take Your Time, Do It Right the other day, and I was like, man, this song is still so dope.
Yeah.
Or Cinnamon Thanks to You, and
classic
all the way down the line.
Yeah, some great music.
It's such a great time for music, and you guys were right there too. You were right in it, and I remember hanging out with Mickey and going to a meeting at BMX when you were there. That's where I met you. And just thinking, oh my God, these are the guys, that have the pulse on in the world. And I remember you saying, hey, what are you doing tonight? I'm mixing at the BBC Club. Come on out. And so, and I wasn't 21 yet, but I was, I think I bluffed my way in, or was it off like a Wednesday or something like that?
I think we all did back in the day, because I know I actually had a club owner. When I started in the business, so I started in like 1977, 78, the drinking age in Illinois was 19 for beer and wine and 21 for, hard liquor or whatever you want to call it. But as we got to like 1970, I got to do the math here. But basically what happened is when I was like 20 years of age, they changed the law and they made everything become 21, which meant if you were working in a nightclub or a bar prior to that, you were now out of a job. Like last night, you were perfectly legal to be there. Tonight, you can't set foot in the place, which made absolutely no sense to me. And, I think some of the club owners got very creative because they didn't want to lose some of the really good employees and talent that they had. And they found ways to work around, either through restaurant laws or whatever the case may be. And I don't think the state was as tight as maybe they are today on everything. I mean, there's more of the Mothers Against Drunk Driving and all these tough laws we have and stuff like that. But it was just a different time period. But, we went through that. Now, New York, Doc is from New York. And I know when we're talking about the music and music breaking, New York was its own beast long before Chicago became a beast. You guys had so many great records. And I know I would go to New York. I would try to go at least once a year to not only experience like some of the discos like the Paradise Garage, Studio 54, New York, whatever the case may be. I was out there for like new music seminar, and, they had all this cutting crews and, guys doing the scratch beats and everything else where it was, the turntablism and stuff that we really didn't see in Chicago. I mean, that was not the scene here. Our scene was more the disco, the house scene, the smooth blends. How did that work, and how did that come into play even with the radio, Doc? Because some of those stations, we go back to the KTUs, the BLSs, and things of the world in New York. I mean, tell me about the sound that they had and what it was like in that time period.
Well, they also had the Latin Rascals. I mean, that was doing their edits and stuff too.
Latin Rascals was thing. So I mean, if you look at say, let's just use freestyle because Tim's here, right?
Boom.
We've always
as soon as I hear it.
We've always had a connection between like the Puerto Ricans in Florida and the Cubans in Florida and the Puerto Ricans and Cubans in New York because, well, they're related. And so you were making the trip up and down 95 and you were bringing that music with you along with whatever was in the trunk. That was the pipeline. So in the process, when people come to drop off, the party decorations, they were like, yo, check this out. This is banging in Miami right now. And you should see how, the clubs in Miami look like, or at that time, even the sort of outdoor beach parties and people are going off. And so for the Latino community, it was like, like hip hop was starting and hip hop was growing and it was doing good. But they were like, yo, this is something that we could own that could be ours, up the states, right? So DC, Philly, Virginia, all the way up. The Puerto Ricans, Dominicans, Cubans, like everybody just took the sort of freestyle thing and be like, yo, we're going to make this our joint. And it also, it had lots and lots of connections to your salsa, your merengue, even what was going on. Just like how dancehall blew up and dancehall became New York because there's a metric crap ton of Jamaicans in New York. So it was kind of sort of that same thing. And remember two Puerto Ricans, Dominican and the black, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
stuff like
course.
that. Like, yo, we killed that.
Do it, do it any way you want, or right? Do it whatever that was.
We killed stuff like that, and so it literally had to do with this identity thing, because the Manhattan disco was seen as upscale and bougie, right? At that time, hip hop was trying to break in, but we were considered grungy, dirty, sort of outsider, like just kids with a bunch of buckets making noise kind of thing. And then so when the freestyle stuff came in, we were able to take that and bring that even to the next level. So it's like, yo, Stevie B, you'd be banging if you didn't wear that outfit, son. Let me show you how to dress New York style and redo it. So they took I want to say the tackiness of, sort of the Miami Rican, and we invented New Yorkers and showed them what's up. That's
New Eurekan soul, that was big too.
Holla back.
Yeah. So if you guys are just joining us, we want to welcome you to DJ's live streaming. I'm Scott Smokin Silz with Doc Rock, and our special guest today, Tim Spinnin Schommer. Sorry, Tim. Just a little tongue-tied here. I do 2 shows on Wednesdays. But basically, first of all, thanks for taking the time to come join us. And for all those of you that are out there listening, please check or hit the subscribe button, hit the notifications button. We appreciate it. We do this every week at 2 p.m. Chicago time. It's Doc and myself, and we try to have some special guests and talk about some things. Something else that, we had a few of the listeners or viewers that have hit me up, and they wanted me to talk a little bit, specifically Robert, as a matter of fact. He's one of our loyal watchers here, or viewers. He wanted me to ask basically what we think of like the DJ business moving forward and how we're going to see things moving forward. I mean, this year for most guys seems to be a complete wash. Now, I know you're more in the club scene, Tim. You're not doing as many of the mobiles as probably like I do. That's more of my business now. But, what are we going to be looking at moving forward? I mean, are we going to see anything this year happening, or is our industry just totally screwed and like this may be the end of what we all do?
Well, there's definitely still a market for the music. Everybody still wants to have. I just think it's going to be on a smaller scale, And I'm not going to lie, I got some things coming up, and I'm interested to find out how they're going to, play out. But it's got to be. It's a scary time, especially for people who are, doing this. This their bread and butter. You know what I mean?
It's horrible. It's horrible because
they live on these shows. I know Cynthia, for example. I'm not singling her out, but she's out every weekend doing shows. And I think she's doing just a few now, a handful, but still, it's got to be not only a scary thing, but it's scary for everybody. There's so many questions. Is this going to turn around in the next few months? I don't think so. I think it's going to be lasting for a while. So, how do we get over this? And just, there's always going to be need for music and this whole thing, but I don't know.
I just lost my New Year's Eve party yesterday. It was a wedding reception. They decided to bail, and they booked it during the pandemic, so they knew what we were up against, what was going on, and they've still decided now to bail. So I'm still losing shows on a daily basis here. Yeah. Every week I'm losing stuff, and it's like I had a pretty good year going, and it now is everybody rescheduling? No, they're not all rescheduling, which is even scarier because it'd be like, okay, well, you make it up next year a little bit. But, I'm not sure we will. I mean, we are definitely in for a change, I think, for a couple of years. I know everybody wants to go out and party and everybody wants to do something, but, we don't have the big nightclubs like we used to have. It's more the smaller bars and smaller crowds. I'm sure these places, when we do go back to doing business and everybody's comfortable, will be very busy because any of the events I've seen this year from everybody, the indication is they are so grateful to be out that what they once took for granted was like, oh, I went to that wedding or whatever, and it's like, yeah, I'm just going to go home after dinner. Oh, no, I'm not going home after dinner. It's supposed to end at 10. I'll still be there at 1 o'clock in the morning dancing on a weeknight if I can, because, it's been so long since you could do that. But
I'm seeing, what I'm seeing is like day events, that have things that go from 5 until 10 maybe. And
the day parties, I love them, man.
Okay, so
I think
those are what's going to be the killer? This is going to be the killer this particular New Year's. So right now, we've always had that club sect, right? That a certain amount of folks that came out, even if it was their 1 or 2 nights a year out, they would come out, they would do the New Year's Eve party. Okay.
Yeah.
But even with all of them, okay, I'll pick Hawaii because I know the numbers. You guys can extrapolate accordingly to Chicago. We have 1.4 million people, period. End of story. We have about a 27,000 club goers, period. End of story. That was our full nut, right? But with the pandemic and with people being at home, those people that used to label themselves as I'm not the club person or I'm too old to go to the club or whatever, they're watching streams now because their friends, who is that, in that group of 8 friends, there's that 2 that go out, the other 6 sit at home and be like, I can't do that because my kids or whatever, they come up with, right? But now those 2 have dragged at least 2 more of that other 8 into the party. And then those 2 have grabbed some nondescript folks into the party. Remember the L'Oreal commercial? I grabbed 2 friends, and you grabbed 2 friends, and so on, and so on, and so on. So if in August you get an email that says, hey, your New Year's gig is capital F'd, in August, the day after, you produce your own online gig using your own RTMP stream, and you have 4 months, I almost can't count. You have 4 months to send out all the flyers, all the emails, all the phone calls, all the Rolodex, and be like, on New Year's Eve from 10 to midnight, I'm going to be in my house, but I'm going to be rocking, and I have room on my Zoom call for 350 people. I'm asking $20 because I got to pay to produce this. Are you in? And you will get your people. You
that is a great idea.
Wait. If you wait for something to happen, you're a douchebag. Do it yourself.
That is a great idea. And you heard it here, people. So, Doc is the one that just gave it to you. He just gave you money for New Year's Eve. It's a wonderful idea, and it's absolutely probably something that needs to happen. So I love the idea.
All
and
you
Doc,
guys know how to buy.
You and I are going to talk about this because you're going to help me produce the one for New Year's Eve here in Chicago now.
We all 3 of us have worked in radios. We all know how to buy radio ads. Just call up your
Tim.
friend at the radio
You and I
station.
should get Tim. Maybe we should team up and do one of these.
Do it.
That's not a yes. I didn't get a yes, ladies and gentlemen.
So here's the good part about
let's talk.
But here's the good part about it, Sky. Even if the clubs are back open, because you're a headliner, you're not going on. You're still going to get the audience,
right?
You're not going on until later. So
absolutely,
you be at your spot until 10, and then when you break out to go to the actual club that you got to go do, the person that's under you or one of the up and comings can be using your stuff to keep going. It's your office, right? It's not at your house. So
you're absolutely right.
So you be like, okay, I'm going to start first because hey, we're back open. I got the real gig. I'm going to be on what you guys call it, the waterfront. I forgot. Scott told me what it's called, Island Drive. Or Ocean Drive,
Navy Pier.
Something like that. Anyway,
Navy Pier. We don't go down.
Chicago GPS messed up. Anyway, you're gonna be like, okay, I gotta leave. I gotta go to Club Ignite, or to Club Cheetah, the club
Cheetah.
Dance with Girls that dance with girls. Anyway, so then you just break out and then leave, the underling at your spot that keeps spinning until 2 a.m. for all of the folks at home. Keep an eye on the kid in the room, but rocking out.
For all the DJs out there that are listening to this, it is a great idea, and it's definitely something you can implement. And I bet if you're in one of the smaller markets especially, you can own that market that night, and it would be a great idea. And even if the clubs reopen and the restaurants, a lot of people, as we've hit the older demographic, I love the day parties. So the clubs that do the, the 2 to 8 or whatever it is, or 3 to 10, I think those are just wonderful times to have the parties, and we've had great turnouts for that sort of thing. So I like it myself. I think it's fun. The vibe is really great. I've played a couple times till 4:30 in the morning. I don't really enjoy it anymore like I used to, because I'm probably the only one left at 4:30 in the morning at any of these parties. There might be like 6 scragglers that have stayed behind just because they felt like it, but it's tough. I mean, we go into these clubs. I know we were at House of Blues one night, and we were staying till, 4:30 in the morning on a Saturday. And our crowd's been there since 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock at night. They're definitely over 40 or 50 years of age. They're not going to be in the club at 4:30. I mean, I'm more for the day party.
The last time I was at a House of Blues, I was standing on the ground and sitting on the stage, just talking story, asking me questions about coming to do a gig in Hawaii was Missy Elliott and the Brat.
What a show right there.
Right? God, I missed the
And
Brat.
Missy's one of my all-time favorites, man. I love Missy.
I love Missy too. She just has a level of swag that unmatched any person in the planet. She's just the coolest person in the world. She's the type of person that, hey, Frankie, open her mouth and a little light comes on inside.
Frankie has arrived, everybody. Usually she shows up right at the end of the show, but she started the show today, and she's going to be my guest host right here. So it's my baby. So, Tim, tell me a little bit more about, like you've got this huge audience for streaming. What are you doing to promote it, and what do you do each week to get away with being able to stay on without getting knocked off?
Oh, I get knocked off.
Are you going Twitch, or are you going Facebook, or are you doing what are you doing? What does your stream consist of?
You know what? I was doing Twitch for a little while, but I'm not getting the action on Twitch that I am on Facebook. The Facebook, you can't deny Facebook has got a built-in, it's got built-in traffic.
Absolutely.
My Twitch numbers weren't very big. I just kind of decided today, actually yesterday, because I'm rearranging my studio. I said, do I really? Because I had two monitors. I was kind of watching comments on both sides, and I said, for the handful of people, the cool thing about Twitch is you don't get cut off, but when you go back later, they mute as they go.
You got to delete the video, your video that gets saved. You need to take that down, otherwise you will get muted out or banned.
Yeah. So I just try to, for me personally, I think I do this more for me than I mean, I'm having a great time, and I love that. I love the love people. Give me shout outs and they'll say, hey man, we're listening in, Philly, we're listening wherever they're listening. It makes me, it really, for me personally, I don't know about you, but I have a hole in my soul that needs to be filled by the love and admiration of people I don't know. And this is definitely an outlet for that. And I love the music too, of course. I'm making jokes, but I'm having such a great time doing it that, once in a while the numbers dip a little bit, but I just got to keep it about the music and just keep smiling and keep doing what you do. I love it. I mean, I'm playing freestyle music. Where else can I can't go do that in the club.
So is freestyle your true love? Is that the music that you absolutely 100% love, or is that just what you've managed to do really well with and be successful with?
Scott, I'm a club DJ. I've always been a club DJ. I just, when I got on the radio with Bad Boy Bill and Julian Perez, I knew I wasn't going to outhouse Bad Boy Bill or Julian. I knew I couldn't, I didn't want to be a C-level guy. I needed to find my niche in there. And I kind of, own a genre now, not own a genre, but, I kind of have, a stamp on a genre that I can say, well, this is my genre. So I can, and now when I go out and I play, I play when I go to the club, do parties and I still play everything. But right now there's so much great new music that comes out. So I can just kind of spotlight the new songs within the genre. And that's kind of what I've been doing. I do love it. I do truly love it. And even when, like the Expose came out and the Cover Girls and some of these
those were great. Even I like that as freestyle music. I mean, you give me Expose, you give me even Cover Cynthia. Girls, I love, Cynthia was awesome. Change on Mine. I
always gravitated towards that music, and so it just seemed like an easy fit for me, And then when Without You by George Lamont came out, I mean, that's one of my favorite songs too. So, IOU by Freeze. I mean, all Xena,
I don't even count IOU as a freestyle record. I know they are, but I saw them at the Paradise Garage in New York City. So you wouldn't expect that a freestyle band is going to be playing at the Paradise Garage. Right. And sure enough, they were there performing IOU at the height of the record. Unbelievable.
Yeah, and Shannon, and I always, whenever I play Xena, I always think it's my friend Scott Smokin Silz.
Yeah.
The first time I saw you, you played that for me. Hey, I got this new record by Xena. I go, oh my God.
Yeah, that's a classic. A lot of that stuff that came out of Emergency was great, man. Feels Good. Electra Feels Good was classic. Yeah. So I mean, I guess we were playing everything back in the day. I guess we really, genre'd out in later years. I mean, I'm more on the deep house and the new disco tip than anything. That's been my genre that I love. And I know if I'm around by myself, I'm in the car. I mean, I don't know if you listen to Sirius XM, but I listen to, I love the Diplo channel, the 52 Diplo's Revolution, man. They play some great house music on there. You know, as far as I'm concerned, as a radio station that you can pick up and not have to program yourself, it's awesome. That's my favorite station. I like that, and I like the classic Motown and soul.
We had that rundown, and we forgot Lisette Melendez. What's wrong with y'all? Y'all got to go to timeout.
Oh, Lisette, yeah. I mean, I even like Lisette Melendez. She had a couple great records. Oh, there you go. Boom.
Oh, Tim, stop it. Hey, now it's hot up in this joint.
Okay. All right. Don't make me reach behind me, Tim. But you know, you got more. You got all the girls.
We got Shannon, all the girls. Judy Torres. Like, that time of music, in Hawaii freestyle was massive. And what's so funny was at that particular time, we were mixing two sort of disconnected cultures, and one of them bounced back to Cali. Okay, so in Hawaii, freestyle was massive, right? And our mini truck culture was massive, right? And it had to do with our sort of connection towards Japan. So what people were doing were taking your small bed Nissan, B2000s and small Toyotas, and they would put hydraulic beds, right? So you could do the tilt, the spin, the whirl, lift it up in the air, twirl it around, and they would put like the low rider through a remotion on trucks. So when you had that, you had the banging system naturally. So you drive through the beach park and you'd be just killing freestyle. Like all you can hear is spring love. And in the truck, the bed is kind of the bed is kind of crooked and going down the street. Well, what happened was California actually took that and brought it back, and so in Westminster and sort of South LA area, like the sort of Asian American community there took freestyle and blew it up. So you ask anybody from the Yay or anybody from LA at that time, freestyle was their move too. So it's funny that it bounced from Miami, New York, Chicago, came all the way out to Hawaii, and then went back to Cali and exploded, like absolutely exploded. So yeah, freestyle was, and as a beach place, beach music, like freestyle, amazing parties, just absolutely amazing parties.
Where do you think, what coast, I mean, where have you been that you see like tremendous love for freestyle, Tim? I know Tony Rosales, who's a promoter here. He's been out west in California a couple times with another one of his partners doing some shows out there, and they've had just tremendous success out there with freestyle music.
Sure, it's all over the place. I mean, we've been to California. It's huge. California's got its own different vibe. So does Texas. It's more of a Planet Rock kind of thing happening there. The New York stuff is more funky and fast and more energetic. I think, the other stuff is more of a kind of a groove. Although, so yeah, it's all over the place. Connecticut, Philadelphia. I've been everywhere. Playing a lot of different parties. But where do I see it mostly? It varies on the day almost. I know Philly's got a huge, Jersey, New York. I'm sure as soon as I forget, it's always, we should have talked about, but it's all over the place, and we're welcome. You're welcome to have it. Wherever you need it, we got it. That's what I'm saying.
Well, Jersey's got that bounce sound that's real hard. It's like, I've seen a few of the cuts remixed, and it's like, oh, that's a good record. I don't really like that version. It's just one of those things. I think you got to feel it out. If you were in the right club with the right crowd, you'd love it too. It's probably awesome.
Song to song. It's about whatever floats your boat, I guess.
Well, there's Robert right there as he puts up a comment. Freestyle music equals hotties. I should have jumped on that train. Well, Robert's the one that asked us about the business and where we kind of see things going forward or not going forward over the next year or so. So I hope we kind of answered your question, Robert. Appreciate your checking us out every week. You've been a very loyal listener and viewer of the show, so we really appreciate that. And for those of you out there, if you haven't had a chance to subscribe yet, please hit the subscribe button, hit the notifications button. We do this every week at 2:00. We have different guests. Our guest today, the legendary Tim Spinnin Schommer. If you're anything to do with like house music and freestyle music and music in Chicago, Tim from B96 and so much more, and all the clubs and all the shows.
Tim's
And
cracking me up because when he
can
say
pull
his name,
his,
he does the
it's,
cameo
I think
pose.
it's like this. Right?
There you go.
There you
Hey.
go. There you go. Okay.
Bruh.
All right.
And he
My
has
man.
a dope Lex Luthor haircut like myself.
There you go.
Yeah. Well, he asked
the
about
cool
his
thing about-
hairdo as soon as we came on the air, and I told him it looked great as always. So,
Yeah, thank you. Well, the cool thing about the freestyle genre too right now is there's so much great new music. The new Lisette Melendez is great. There's a new Sammy Zone that's on fire. There's a new TKA that's getting a lot of radio love. It goes on. Yeah, TKA is and written by a girl from Chicago, Lisa B, which is amazing. Such a great song. It's called "Slipping Through My Hands,"
Nice.
and it's really a great record.
I wish we could play these songs to give them some samples, but we'll just get a copyright violation.
Yeah.
The spiders will come get us.
Yeah.
Which is too bad.
But, check those records out. The new Sammy Zone's on fire, produced by Carlos Barrios, who worked on the Jasmine record and the Karina record, the Lisette Melendez records. I mean, the guy he's the magic man. And Willie Valentine produced the TKA. There's a new Elisa B and Raul Soto record. There's just so much great new music that's out right now. Jesse B from Legacy is back.
Yeah, Legacy.
And he's making records too. Like I said, there's just as soon as I stop talking, I'm gonna I should have talked about that record.
Well, yeah,
but it's just a great time.
Even like you'll go to the what was commercial success, but it still counted was your like Lisa and the Cold Jam. Like that was my heart. That was my most overplayed tape to the point where I popped it, went to Towers, got another one, and put it back.
I wonder if you take me home. That was such a classic.
Dude. So she actually performed out here. I had the privilege of opening up for her back then, and like literally one of the greatest show people ever. I was just watching something not that long ago, and it was a interview of Sheila E. And she's still performing to this day. I saw a live stream of her on YouTube, and she's still killing it. And it's like, she was a diamond in the rough. Like Prince found literally one of the greatest back then. And it was a really great time in music, honestly. And I think the cool thing with Tim brought up earlier, you can play almost any one of these freestyle tracks right now, and they pretty much all stand the test of time. Even with that 909 crappy drum sound, the fake Lynn drum sound of the 909, and then
808.
Some of the guys popped in the 808 to give it that extra. Yeah, they gave it that extra. Well, no, because in New York, we couldn't afford 808s, so a lot of people use 909s. All the 808s were stolen by the hip-hop guys. So a lot of the freestyle guys were cheating. And so they were using 909s and gates to kind of come up with that boom, doom, doom, boom, doom, doom, doom. And then, so again, the two of the greatest.
You're stealing records in the background there, Tim.
Oh, that's little Ava.
Okay. All right.
He has that automated record changer.
Right. It's the person grabs the record and changes it.
So I mean,
that's what you need for a 1200. That's the auto changer.
It's incredible, and it's funny too if you remember at that time. I think another thing that
there we go.
That did freestyle a lot of favors is the high impact aerobics kick was banging back then. And so any club you went to or gym club you went to, they were banging like freestyle, and you had people just going mental in their Olivia Newton-John outfits. with the leg warmers and Reeboks.
You remember those videos that they used to show on like cable TV back in the day, like when we had on TV and the rooms were all white and they had their aerobic outfit on, and it was like, oh, that's so cool.
One more to the side. I think we all need that right now. To be honest,
definitely. Take off that COVID-15.
My COVID-15 is COVID-40.
Man, I put a pant size on, okay? Thank God they reopened hockey, and now they're shutting it down again. We're closing hockey down. The 14th of the month is the last day we can have, like, any kind of competitive hockey here.
Robert brings up a good question, and I want to say, if they started all over again right now, I think it could do it. Just because of the speed of it, because of that dope rhythm, because the Latin community is more accessible now. The internet is more accessible now. If you were to recreate freestyle right now, I think it would actually bang.
It would, but I think it would have way more of a Latin flavor to it than it does, or than it did.
Yeah, I'm saying because the community is more accessible now. I think
Yeah.
we should call up J-Lo and tell her to make it a mission. 'Cause
Right.
she make another dance show, I'm gonna kill her. She had like 8 dance shows already.
And she's so talented, though. You know,
Well,
I mean,
they had
I've grown to
Jenny
like
from the
J-Lo
block,
more
right?
over the years because of, just the dancing and the stuff that she does, because I think she's more well-rounded now. I mean, I saw her doing some Motown stuff, and I was like, oh, my God, you're killing it, girl. I mean, she still looks fantastic,
She's
obviously.
amazing.
And, she's a talent. I mean, she really needs to have like a Vegas show where she plays like every night,
Oh, man, that
Cher
would
is
be
done.
crazy.
And I mean, she would be just crazy for that sort of a
That
show.
would be crazy. I
She
would be
does.
there.
Well, she doesn't need, because she can go do the world tour still and pack them into the big places. But I think that would be an awesome thing for her to do at some point, maybe in the next 5 years.
She does, or she did. I know she does.
Did you guys
She
watch
have like a residency type show where she's there every night? Okay.
Did you
Yeah,
guys
that'd be-
watch
that would be off the chain. I would pay to go see that.
documentary? You watched the documentary of Timberlake's Vegas show?
No, I haven't seen it.
Bruh, incredible. You can watch it on Netflix. Like they basically incredible. I'm like, yo, the kid's always been talented, and when I met him, he was still in Disney Mickey Mouse Club.
Yeah.
But incredible show. Like you're in your house just waiting for something to happen. And he has some secrets in there. So if you haven't watched it already, you should watch it.
I mean, if you even see him on Saturday Night Live, like when he does that thing with Jimmy, it's Jimmy Fallon. I mean,
God.
that is just the most incredible, like, creative thing. Those guys are so good together. I know they're like best friends too, so that's probably why it's very natural for them. But
Robert,
that's great.
You are hilarious. I got that joke. As the Puerto Rock in the room, I get that joke.
There you go. Very good, Robert.
That's super funny.
Showing some DJ humor there. We get it. All right.
Yeah.
So, Tim, what do you see for yourself in the future now?
Just keep waking up. That's the plan. Keep waking up. That's the move right there. Just keep doing it, man. Just keep doing it. I'm really happy with where I am right now. I love doing this Facebook thing. I love, if we just, I'm having a great time. I mean, when I was 14 years old, they said, hey, man, let me put my ladder against this wall, this DJ wall. Who would have thought that I'm, still doing it?
I don't think any of us did, because it wasn't even a career back then. I mean, see a 50 or a 60-year-old DJ or whatever, you'd be like, what, man? That's got to be a 20-year-old back there.
It was, if you
but,
told your parents
the business wasn't there back then. We created the business. So, it's a natural progression.
All I want to do is mix, and all I want to do is play music and make people happy. And that's kind of, it's a great, I've had a great life. I've had a wonderful life, so.
Yeah. And people would ask, like, well, are you going to change careers now or whatever? It's like, no, I mean, we're very successful at what we do. We're just shut down at the moment. Things will change. They'll reopen. It may be a little different for a period of time, but, I think things will come back and return to normal and be back to, comfort level that we haven't seen in a while.
You know what they
and
say?
People may appreciate it even more.
Yeah, what is that shirt you're wearing? Is that a Hot Mix 5 Chicago shirt?
That's one of mine. Yeah, it's just something I had made. It's very limited edition, as there's one of these.
I knew you were coming today, Tim,
cool.
so I wore my tuxedo.
Oh, there you go. Thank you very much.
My Hawaiian tuxedo.
So, Tim, I see you got a lot of vinyl back there. You do play off a computer, though, mostly with a controller. Are you playing all vinyl?
I am playing off a controller, and I'm using these. I've been dumping these into my computer, and I've been editing. And that's one of my passions too, just editing the music and making it my own. So,
have you kept
somebody else?
Have you kept all your records? Or have you thinned down the collection over the years?
I have thinned the herd quite a bit. Nobody needs 8 copies of some record I never played anyway. So, I was a Billboard dance reporter for 25 years too. So
you get a lot of mail.
A lot
of fan mail. Man, it's the best record ever. You got to play this. You got to put this on your chart, bro. This is the best record ever.
Yeah, dude, a lot of that. But,
you know what? James Coles, who's visiting us right now, he said things are going to get better than ever. He posted a picture the other day, which I thought was incredible, and it was like the boys meeting up at the record pool, like circa 88, 89.
Yeah.
What somebody needs to do is to just make a show that's the virtual record pool, right? So most people are on the same basic services, right? So what you do is you come up with, okay, these are going to be the 5 or 10 tracks that I want to highlight this week, even if they come from different places. Even if you got to get it from SoundCloud or Bandcamp or various places, you put together that little list. These are the 5 things. You have a bunch of cats meet like in a Zoom room or something, and you just basically stream there. Or every dude bring a record, and you do virtual record pool because
Well, that'd
record
be a
pool
cool
days
idea.
used to be the bomb. Just be in the
They
store,
were
cracking jokes.
hanging.
Somebody would
Yep.
come in to pick their box up, and they looked like they had the worst night of their life, but they actually had the best night of their life that week until the next week. And like so, just meeting at the beat here with Kevin Okada and picking up the boxes. It was just fun. We would go grab
Yeah.
something to eat. We would sit there and talk smack for a little while, and then we would go back to James' house and do the BPM map, in the corner, and put his little 24 logo on all the records.
Yeah.
And yeah, I remember record pool was so much fun. So somebody
Well,
has
we
to
still
come up with
do.
the virtual record pool show.
We do something a little similar to that. At least we did until the pandemic. It's happened a few times. We actually belong to a DJ association here in Chicago, and we meet out in Schaumburg once a month. So we have a monthly meeting, and we have pizza dinner or whatever the case may be together. So you get there like an hour for BS beforehand, and then we share some business information. And we usually have a guest speaker. Sometimes we fly them in from out of state or whatever to talk about certain things with the DJ business. And we do that. It's almost like a little convention, but it's private. And we all have joined this association that we do this, and it's great. It's been good for business relationships with other guys that do things that are similar to what we do, but it's probably more geared to the mobile DJ than it is to the club DJ. We'd love to get more of the Chicago DJs and the club DJs involved in that, but getting them to come out to those meetings, it's been challenging. They have their own thing that they do and probably go downtown. I have seen one on a Facebook group like that. That was trying to meet and do pizza once a month, and they were more of a party. They were going to spin and let you play at their party or whatever, and it was more of a DJ party. But it's a great idea, and I think DJs really do need to come together more and spend that time sharing knowledge and learning from one another, because that's how we all got better at what we do.
Yeah, true story. True story. Robert says he met Tim broadcasting in the van. And he said he was super down to earth and really nice, left a good impression. You talking about the same Tim? Look, you got him blushing. Look, he's blushing. Us bald guys, we blush up here.
Well, cool. I didn't borrow money from you, did I? Or
Yeah, I was gonna say we gotta send
Get rid of
Robert's
him for
PayPal
$20,
account.
right?
yeah, checks in the mail. Checks in the mail.
Hey,
Yeah.
Tim, I wanted to leave you with a piece of something that we've been talking about here every week on the show. Yeah, we know that the landscape is ever changing when it comes to getting your streams killed or whatnot. And again, at the moment right now, Twitch is the longest. But like you were saying, you don't really find traction on Twitch. We're telling everybody, keep your email list squared away so you can tell people in your email list, yes, I'm going to be on Facebook, but if we get muted, don't forget, hit the Twitch channel, because the Twitch channel will probably work better. And so when people come to your Facebook, send them to Twitch so that when you get killed, you're actually still okay, because Twitch doesn't do anything. And then so if you're constantly telling them to go over there, Facebook will be your entry, but it's sort of like, when we used to go to the NAM, right? When you walk in and you get your badge, they go, if you're in broadcasting, go that way. If you're in the recording, go that way. If you're into like live music, go that way. Like you had the director sort of pointing. That's what you use Facebook for. You use Facebook as the map, and you just try to slowly drive people to Twitch, and in no time they'll be there. But you just have to tell them why they have to go there, not just, hey, I'm also here, right? So even though nobody really watches us, I keep putting this on Mixcloud, because eventually it will get there, and all the DJs are there anyway, so they'll find us. And it's a good way to just, start to direct that traffic, so you always have a safety net. So that, and you should always have your email list on point anyway, because you might decide you want to start selling sneakers, and then you can send that email list.
So you can become a sneaker billionaire.
Yeah, you can send an email list to
Right.
like 30,000 people at one cock and be like, yo, the Spinnin Kicks is coming, son. What size you need? So it's your email list should be your life. And most people don't realize that. You know, they got 1,000 followers on Facebook. You know, they got like 4,000 on YouTube, but you have no connection to them. If Facebook or YouTube died tomorrow, you lost them. But if you got the email list, that's going no place. So your email list should be your, yeah.
That's good advice.
And
That's good advice.
James said that's what he does because Facebook has special sound, and that's why he tell everybody. Actually, yeah, Twitch does have better sound too. It's because they're expecting the dynamic range on Twitch is better because it's made for gaming, and gaming has incredible dynamic range. So the music works the best on Twitch.
All right, maybe I have to reevaluate my idea. I was going to stop doing it. Maybe you just turned me around on that.
Leave it there. It's very important.
Bring that other TV back.
Well, you know, you can restream and get them all. You know, you can do it on Facebook and Twitch at the same time. You just need restream, Tim. So, you know, that's what we use. Put you on Facebook. It'll put you on YouTube. It'll put you on Twitch. It'll put you on Periscope. And any custom locations, if you want to go to Mixcloud, whatever the case may be, you can do that. So check it out.
We're currently
you get a free trial.
To 6 locations right now.
Yeah.
As we do.
Oh,
this.
Is that right? Oh, yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Restream with one sign-in.
Yep. Restream. Restream.I. What is it? What's the address? It's restream.io or whatever.
Restream.io. Yes.
Yeah. All right, everybody. We do this every week. Our guest today, Tim Spinnin Schommer. Boom. And of course, my man Doc Rock. Anything you guys want to close with before we wrap it up? We thank you guys for joining us. And you know, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, hit the notification button. Gentlemen, what do you got before we go?
Doc, it was nice. Doc, it was nice talking with you. Scott, be sure to say hi to Barbara for me.
Thank you. We'll do.
All right. We got to get together.
All right, buddy.
All right.
Look forward to it. Let's talk about that New Year's Eve thing. Doc gave us a great idea there. I think that might be a winner.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, basically, if
Doc, you have to come in on it with us, though. That's got to be the deal.
I got to do James's one here because
he can come in on it. Let's do it international. We'll do Hawaii, and you probably have it going to Japan, and we'll go here.
Dude, if they let us fly to Chicago, we're gone. We're there. Except for it'd be cold in December.
Yes, it will.
Tickets are probably like $1.50 right now. They're cheap.
Yeah.
Get them now.
Get her for $19.95. No ups, no extras.
So, hey, can you get if you hurry now, we'll send you 2 for $19.95.
Right, you get 2 for $19.95. But you got to fly today. Fly before midnight. 2 for $19.95.
I appreciate you guys. It's been awesome. Don't forget, gang, keep your email list squared away. That's the answer. That's the money shot right now for 2020. Actually, it's been that way, but we're going to focus on it now. Get your email list.
All right, guys. Have a great week. We'll see you back next week, 2:00 Chicago time every Wednesday. It's Doc Rock, myself, and today our special guest, Tim Schommer. Thanks, everybody.
Peace out. Tim is killing me. Thanks, fam.